So let's first talk about what your essay is about. You see before you the instructions. And so this essay is going to be a first person essay. So, in your previous readings, we stressed that academic writing prefers third person point of view, but for this first essay, we're going to allow you to choose something that is something you're familiar with, that you feel like you're an expert on, and that you will care about, so that you're learning the form and you're still writing a persuasive essay, but you're doing it from a personal point of view. So, in this one, you're going to pick something that you do, an activity, something you belong to, but something that you find value in. And that value can be on a broad spectrum. It can be something that just makes you feel good, it's fun, that kind of stuff. But it could also be something that there's actually some kind of reward in it, like, you're helping other people and that makes you feel good about yourself that you're helping others, but you're not getting anything necessarily back in return other than that good feeling. So it can be something that's quite fun and light, but it could also be something that's quite serious as well, or somewhere in between. And I've got some examples that we'll look at in the videos to kind of help you decide. So you're going to tell us what it is you like and why it has value. And then you're going to give us 3 reasons to support the value that you think it has. Okay? So you can see under the basic requirements, you've got to have a thesis statement. You have to have a minimum of 3 body paragraphs that give 3 well-developed claims to support the value that you find in the subject. Your paper should be at least 650 words. This does not count your works cited entries as part of the word count. If you have works cited entries for this essay, it's not required that you use outside research, but you may want to provide some facts or statistics that might help you prove the value to your reader. You might want to find a definition, something like that. So you're free to incorporate outside research if it's necessary and relevant, but you're not required to. And obviously, if you do use it, you need to document it properly in MLA style to avoid plagiarism. Um, Now, your paper can be much longer than 650 words. 650 is the minimum that you could have to hope to pass the paper. Usually, 650 words. If that's all you get, then you've probably not thoroughly developed some part of it, but you've probably got enough to make at least a C. But again, I would say the range here is 650 to 1200 words would be, a good range. So that's about 2 to 4 pages, something in there. If you're writing more than that, you're probably doing more work than what this needs. So again, try to keep it within that range. You need to have a title that includes, that reflects what the paper is about. Again, standard academic English, MLA style. And you are picking your audience, but your audience should be people who could at least read on a college level, right? And you will be doing the build the essay worksheet in class. I'm sorry, online, but I am going to have you, as I said last time, I'm going to have you post sections of your worksheet on the discussion board rather than have you turn the worksheet in every time. So you're still using the worksheet. It's just I'm asking you to copy that info and put it in a discussion board instead of turning in the worksheet. So all those things are still true. You must turn in every phase. Um, and again, when I say during class, obviously I mean on the discussion board because, that's what our class is. That's where our class functions in terms of interaction and that kind of stuff. All right. Over here, you're going to see some other materials. Um, Usually I have students read the Paul Roberts and the Kurt Vonnegut pieces, so those will be available to you as um, just some extra supplementary reading about how to write in college and things to avoid. Don't make some real typical freshman writing mistakes. Um, Again, you have the page requirement, and this is worth 400 points. This is one of our required assignments. So you must turn this in, or else you cannot pass the class no matter what your grade is by the end of this semester. And that's again usually because I make it 400 points. If you don't turn it in, you're probably not going to pass the class anyway because it's just, going to be really hard to making a 0 on 400. But it's, actually, there's just no way you can. I won't let you pass if I don't see all four of those required assignments. And then just a reminder that we do have some tutoring available. If you can't come on campus, then in MindTap you have, I believe, 6 free tutoring sessions available in MindTap. Um, and so you send your paper on to them, and within 24 to 48 hours, they'll send you back a professional assessment feedback on your writing. So you can definitely take advantage of that if you can't come up here. And even if you can come here, it doesn't hurt to have them look at your paper as well. We do have tutors in the Writing House in Tanner 302, which is the LAH's computer lab for students. Nasantai has free tutoring. And then there are again available other places as well. So, it's always great to get other educated eyes on your paper, and you have lots of opportunities to do that. And of course, I will also give you feedback along the way. So let's talk about the thesis first, because that's your first part. After you kind of pre-write and you've got an idea of what you want to write about and maybe what you want to say, now we have to craft our thesis statement that tells our reader what we're writing about and what we're going to say about it. And that has two parts. It has a subject and it has an attitude. And the subject for this essay will basically be the activity that you're writing about, right? Whatever you have chosen, that's going to be the subject. And then the attitude will be a statement that indicates the value that that subject has for you. All right. So let's look here in our Brightspace. This is the discussion board where you'll turn in your thesis statement, and you'll see I've reminded you to come to the master guide if you need help. I've given you a real quick summary of what a thesis is, and I've given you a warning that if I ever do a specific example, like here's a thesis or something like that, you cannot use that in your own paper. Right? Sometimes, every once in a while, I have a student that wants to take my thesis statement and use that as their own. That's plagiarism. So again, these are for just to kind of help you. And I try to choose things that are maybe not run of the mill, so I can avoid maybe picking a topic that someone else would take. But even so, you can still choose the same topic, but you won't express yourself or have the same value that I will. So again, make sure you're not copying what I'm doing and using it in your paper. So here are two examples. The first one, my subject is container gardening. And what do I want to say about that? Well, my attitude is that it's a great alternative to traditional gardening. My 3 reasons why: it needs limited space, it's not labor intensive, and it provides health benefits. So my thesis would be: container gardening is a perfect alternative for people with limited space and physical ability, but who also want the benefits of fresh produce. So my subject, container gardening. My attitude, it's beneficial, right? My second example is about racquetball. Racquetball is my subject. My attitude is a fantastic way to get exercise. My 3 reasons why: it's flexible, inexpensive, and easy to learn. So my full thesis would be: for people looking for a fun, flexible, and inexpensive way to stay in shape, racquetball is a good option. So can you see the way that's all working together? Right? You can see exactly what I'm going to talk about and the attitude I'm going to take, what I'm trying to persuade you about that topic. And I've given you a hint of my topic sentences in both of those thesis statements, right? So if you see the 3 reasons why, those are going to be what I'm arguing in the body paragraphs of my essay. And we'll talk about that soon so you can get the nitty gritty of that. All right. So here's a list of some things to think about if you're still struggling to figure out what you want to write about. I kind of just tossed out some ideas. There's so many, but this hopefully will get you thinking about the kind of possibilities here, right? So any kind of volunteer work, like if you go on mission trips, if you build houses for the homeless, if you volunteer at soup kitchens, anything like that where you're giving your time. A lot of people might say, why do you give your time? You're not getting anything back, right? So again, why is volunteering valuable? In the specific way that you have chosen to volunteer. You might look at competitive activities. Do you game? Are you involved in sports, trivia contests, right? Maybe you like to go to trivia night at the local pub or something like that. And people, why do you spend so much time there? Why is it so much fun, right? um, artsy stuff, anything that's maybe a creative outlet like painting or writing, cooking, sewing your own clothes, that kind of stuff. I used to sing in a three-piece jazz ensemble, and we didn't get to perform a lot because our schedules just got really crazy after we kind of started practicing. But it was really fun while it lasted, right? But it took a lot of time. Some people may say, why are you adding to your busy schedule, right? Well, creative outlet is important for me. So that might be what you're looking at there. Physical activities. Now, obviously, sports would come under this, but, we're looking at, maybe you're not playing on a established team for like a college or a high school or something like that. This might just be things that you do. So skydiving, running, maybe for yourself, or maybe you like to compete in marathons, team or individual sports, hiking, traveling. So anything that involves, getting out and doing something, right? Sedentary activities might be like things like writing or something like that, right? So those are the kind of a range there. And then just some general things. Do you like to collect certain things? Do you geocache? I mean, there's just so many opportunities for you to pick something that you really love to do that is fulfilling in some way. And then you want to share that fulfillment with your reader. Because that's what essays do in part. They're a way for us to connect to people and to share things that are really important to us. And sometimes what we're sharing is an idea or a solution to a problem. And sometimes we're just gushing over, what we love to do because it's so great. We want to make sure that other people know how great it is too, right? And that's kind of what you're getting to do in this essay. All right. So, what you need to do right now is to get a draft of your thesis. And again, you're going to see right here that I want you to fill out on the message board. I want you to write your subject, your attitude, your 3 reasons why, and then I want you to combine all of those into one statement. And it doesn't have to be perfect. At this point, you're just getting a rough thesis, and you'll get feedback from me, and you'll get feedback from your friends or other peers in the class. And again, remember, when you are done, you must respond to 2 other people at least. And I want you to respond by answering those 5 questions, and give your reader the best feedback you can. Don't worry at this point that you don't know a lot about thesis statements. Just read and say, do you notice anything that they don't have, right? Is there one improvement that you can recommend? What is something about the thesis that you find intriguing or really interesting, or strong, right? Just do your best, be honest, and put everything in a positive format, right? We're constructively criticizing. We're not trying to be mean or anything. And so then we're going to move on to the next section, which is the introduction.